Hi, everybody. My name is yenisbel. I'm a BCABA with a group called ABA Exam Academy, and today we're going to be covering compound schedules of reinforcement. It's very tricky, but we're going to tackle it. We're going to do scenarios, and we're going to do some mock questions. Disclaimer for our group is that ABA Exam Academy is here to help you. It's the ABA BCABA exam. And remember, guys, these meetings are meant to have active discussions and collaboration to understand the BCBA 4th edition task list concepts. So please, all viewers and participants, it's your responsibility to look up every information that we say here to double check so you have accurate information. Make sure that you have accurate information for the exam. Again, I'm the presenter, and the PowerPoint and the mock questions are created by me. The ethical considerations is to refrain from sharing any BCBA, BCABA test questions during this meeting, or from sharing any paid resources or any identifiable client information. And remember, when you're sharing open resources, to always give credit to those who deserve it. Guys, like always, I use Cooper and Mayer for my information. So, like we said, compound schedules of reinforcement is in task list D. And as we all know, task list D is the one that has the majority of the questions in the exam. So who can remind me which one are the compound schedules of reinforcement?
Concurrent.
Okay.
Multiple and mixed.
Multiple, mixed, good. We have 3.
Chained and tandem.
Chain and tandem.
Conjunctive and alternative.
I like the way you guys said it, because I think you said it in the same order that I presented it. That I put it here. Are you reading my mind or something? Nah, everybody's equally smart. We know how to organize it in a way that we remember it, right? So, chain and tandem, multiple and mixed, and the one that you guys said independently by itself, which was concurrent. Nice job.
The lonely one.
The lonely song. But it's the one that when I read Cooper, is the one that had the most amount of information because we use it a lot. Okay, what are the compound schedules composed of? There's a couple that are easy and another ones that are unexpected. But just throw whatever pops into your head, just throw it out there.
Some of them have an SD attached.
Yeah, and I'm talking, you're right. I'm referring more about like the compound schedules are basically, they're a combination of schedules. Which are those schedules that we're talking about here?
I mean, like the variable and
like the simple schedules.
Oh, okay.
The word compound means that it's a combination, right? So we have different simple schedules. I just want us to be clear which are those simple schedules that we're talking about.
So you have ratio in there now.
Differential reinforcement.
The DRs.
So we have the differential reinforcement. We have FI. Let's go in order. So we have continuous reinforcement, schedules of reinforcement, the ones that are FR, VR, FI, VI. Differential reinforcement for various rates of responding, which is DRH and DRL. And we have extinction. Just keep those in mind whenever you're doing the test. And then the other thing that we need to keep in mind is the elements from these basic schedules can occur. So what happens with those simple schedules, there's different combinations of them. And here, Cooper specified 3 categories. Or 3, yeah, we can call it categories. So the first one is that they're successive. What does it mean when they say successive?
One after the other.
One after another. That's exactly what I have there. And They're simultaneously. What does that mean?
At the same time.
Happens at the same time. Thank you, Claudia. Just from the top of your head, does anybody remember which one is successive? If you don't, it's okay. One after another one.
Chained and tandem?
Chain, and I believe, and tandem as well. Okay, so the other category that they put it on is with or without discriminative stimulus, which I think you had already, Armando had already mentioned. Thank you, Armando. And the last one is that as a reinforcement contingency for each element independently, or a contingency formed by the combination of all elements. So what does that mean? It basically means that as a compound schedule can be reinforced when you do the two simple schedules independently, or when you do the combination of the two, right? So those are the key things that they want us to keep in mind for overall. So let's go to the nitty-gritty now. Compound schedules, which is what we said already, it's combining schedules of reinforcement. So this one is chain and tandem, and it is successive, which means one schedule after another schedule. When you're done with one schedule of reinforcement, you do the next schedule of reinforcement. Who can explain to me, I already have the information there, but I want you to start like breaking it down and getting fluent with it. Who can explain to me what chain is? Feel free to read it from there if you need to. I just want you to participate.
You're looking for an explanation of what chained is?
Yes.
It's when I need to remember it, I think of it as task analysis. It's just one thing after the other that happens. That's been helpful.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I have it in another slide, but yes, I like that. That's the way I always think about it also. So does it have SD, Armando?
Yes, it does, but the tandem doesn't.
Exactly. So that's the difference between chain and tandem, is that the chain has SD, but tandem doesn't. But how many behaviors do we need for chain and tandem? One or more behaviors, or is it two or more behaviors?
Chain is for at least one or more. Same with
Exactly.
tandem.
Good job. So it also says that it has two or more basic schedules of reinforcement. And like we said, it occurs in a specific order, never random. Example is tying shoelaces. Why is tying shoelace chain?
Because you have to do it in a certain order, otherwise it doesn't happen.
Exactly. That's what I wrote here. So chain and tandem schedules of reinforcement. The test tip that I always use for myself is, does the schedule mention at least steps or chain? So to do the behavior, if the answer is yes, which one are the two that we're talking about? Is chain and tandem. So just move on to this example over here. The example this is an example for chain. So you get the cooking instructions step by step. So for example, you mix the ingredients and you have the SD, and then you have the response. And then you put the dough in oven, you have the SD and then the response. And it goes on and on and on. Why is this a chain again?
Because it has to be done in order.
It has to be done in order. Okay. So, and it has an SD. The SD for this one gives you, prompts the response for the last one. So Let me just clear it. Clear it. As these ingredients present, our response is mixing the ingredients. But it's like Armando was saying, it's basically a shame, like a task analysis when you do the task analysis. Okay, guys, so we're just gonna move on to, this one is successive, one after another one. So we have multiple and mixed. Anybody wants to tell me about multiple? So does it have SD, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. How many behaviors?
Two.
It's
One
one or more.
One behavior or more.
One behavior or no, or one or more. Which one is the only one that has two behaviors or more?
Concurrent.
Concurrent, yes. So I'm gonna keep asking this question anyways, so we're good with that. But that's the only one that's gonna have two or more. And two or more basic schedules of reinforcement. So what I mean by that is that presents two or more basic schedules of reinforcement in an alternating, usually random sequence. Okay, so an example that I found is a child at dad's house, watch TV, and there's no need to do homework before watching the TV. And the child at mom's house, he needs to first do the homework, then watch TV, and you cannot watch TV without doing the homework. So which one is the behavior here? Which one is the behavior that he needs to engage in to get the reinforcer?
Do homework.
Doing the homework, perfect. And what's the SD in dad's, well, what's the SD for the first one, for number one?
Dad's house.
Dad's house. And what's the SD for the second one?
Mom's house.
Mom's house, good job. Thank you. So mixed is basically the same as the one as multiple. The only difference is what?
No SD.
No SD, yes. No SD correlated with the independent schedule. That's the way they wrote it. So the example that I came up with here is the child with the new babysitter. The behavior will be doing the homework like you guys said, but he gets home and he doesn't know if the babysitter will require him to do homework before he watches TV or not. And what I think is, mixed, it's like, oh my God, what a mess. It's not, there's no order. There's no SD, you don't know what to do or what's gonna cue your response. Do you guys have any examples that you wanna share with the group that would make it easier for us to remember?
If you have a supervisor at work, or it could be family supervisor, one day you say hi, she's very giggly and saying hi back. Another day you say hi and the person just stared at you. So there's two supervisors, but you don't know which schedule you'll be on because one day one responds, the other one doesn't.
Good. So can you do the same example but with SD?
Well, yeah, so you pretty much, you say hi, so you will always get, a response back. Like another example, just like if you have, two supervisors, like one, if you're requesting vacation and one person, will always approve your vacation, the other one doesn't approve it, so you kind of know which one to go to. Obviously, if it's multiple, that as this person, it's always gonna be a yes.
That's a good example. I like that one. Thank you, Maud.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, let's move on. So the next one is compound schedules of reinforcement. So this one is simultaneous, which means it's happening at the same time. We have alternative and conjunctive. And anybody wants to explain it? Basically, alternative is how many behaviors? Let's break it down. One or? More.
More.
So they have to do either or to get the reinforcer. So you have to do either the ratio
Or the interval.
or the interval. But remember, it has to have a ratio and an interval in the schedule. Okay?
Right. Whichever one get done first, you still get access to the reinforcement.
Yes. So what about conjunctive? What's the difference?
It's pretty much you still have
You have to
a
do both.
ratio and interval schedule, but however, you do have to complete both in order to get the reinforcement.
Yeah. So the keywords, what I like to think about is like to remember the wording is conjunctive is conjoined twins. They have to go together. Alternative is alternative.
Alternate.
Alternate.
Alternate, either or. That's how I remember it.
Yeah, so just a reminder, client needs to meet criteria for either ratio or
interval.
And for the conjunctive, this client needs to meet criteria for what?
Ratio and
interval.
Both schedule.
Nice job, guys. Thank you.
I like your joint twins. That's very visual.
That's a really good one.
Thank you. I was gonna look for a picture, but I didn't have time. So imagine a picture of it. So I put a couple of examples here. So which one is the behavior that the person needs to engage in to earn the reinforcer? For me, that's the key question that I like to ask myself to guide myself. But if you have any other ones, then please share with us. And the next one is point out the schedule reinforcement. So it's basically the same question for everyone. Okay, so if Danny does his homework, and I use the similar scenarios, okay, so we can pinpoint and critique it. If Danny does his homework in 10 minutes or finishes 20 exercises, he can play with iPad. This is number one. Which one is that one, guys?
Alternative.
Why? Can you teach us?
Because it says or.
It says
So it says or. So he can do one or the other to get the iPad.
I like that. Yes. Thank you. Okay, number two. Danny needs to wash dishes for 3 minutes and wash at least 4 dishes to then get the iPad.
Conjunctive.
Okay, well, any of you want to explain why?
Because there's two schedules in effect. There's an FI schedule, which is an interval, because you need to wash dishes for 3 minutes, and also the second schedule, which is the ratio, he needs to wash at least 4 dishes, so 4 responses.
And does he do it? Does he have to do both, or does he not?
Well, he has to do both.
He doesn't have to do both. Yes. And yeah, that was another key question that I was gonna ask, and I forgot to write it down. Is like, where's the interval and where's the ratio? And you pointed it out. So let's do the same thing for the next one. Let's point out the interval and the ratio so we can see. Okay, so this is somebody talking to them, I think. Danny, you will get your reinforcer if you finish 4 of your chores. And you will also earn it if you spend 10 minutes doing your chores. Whichever happens first will earn you the iPad. Okay, this one's a little bit trickier, so watch out.
Alternative.
Why?
Well, because they're talking about you can do your chore, which is the ratio. And then I believe, because I can't really see because this picture's blocking it, but it also talk about if you do also 10 minutes, you can either or, whichever one you do, get you the reinforcement.
But you have the word "and" there.
But it says whichever happens first.
Perfect. Yes. So don't.
Right.
Sentence. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, guys. That was perfect. Because
I'm like, wait a minute. I got this. What are you?
I'm always messing with you, girl.
Ah, don't do that. Like 5 days ago.
No, but it's good because the thing is that you got it, but other people don't. So that's why sometimes we rush through it and we say the word, we see the word and we're like, oh, it has to be conjunctive, but we need to be
Yeah.
more
Also, read the last question because it's whichever one happened first.
Yes. And the other ones were easy because it had the word or I had the word and, but this one you just have to interpret the question. Nice job, Maud. You're ready.
Thank you.
Danny has to write 3 sentences under 5 minutes. Which one is that? I skipped something here.
Right.
And then gets the rain for sir. Danny has to write 3 sentences under 5 minutes and then gets the reinforcer.
I'll say that's a conjunctive.
So Maud says it's a conjunctive. Anybody else?
Where's the SD here?
It's a conjunctive.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
both schedules are in play. You have the interval and you also have the ratio. Because you have to write 3 sentences, so that's your ratio under 5 minutes. So there's your interval. And then it says and then get the reinforcer. Conjunctive.
Oh, you say it's conjunctive. I heard another conjunctive and I heard
I agree that it's conjunctive.
yeah. Let me see. You see, you asked about the SD. This one says, I'm sure, I think it has an SD. It's just not clearly reading.
Right. I got stuck on that.
Yes. So, and I get it. That's why it's tricky. We have to figure out a key question that we can ask ourselves that it's going to let us to organize how to do it. The way I like to think about it is like, which one is the reinforcer, the possible reinforcer, and what is the behavior? Those 2 are the ones that I like to think about. But in any case, here, remember, it has possible SD. Just keep in mind, they both say that they have possible SD, okay? Wait, am I going? Yes, I'm going to the right one. Okay, so let's go for conjunctive. I think we had like 3. Okay, guys, so if Danny does his homework in 10 minutes and gets 20 exercises done, then he can play with his iPad.
If Danny does his homework in 10 minutes, get
Conjunctive.
conjunctive.
2 conjunctive. Anybody else?
Conjunctive.
We have 3. It is conjunctive.
Woohoo!
Good job, guys. Claudia's like, it's conjunctive. Leave it alone. Let's just drop it. It is conjunctive. You are right, my friend. Okay, compound schedules of reinforcement this one is concurrent. It happens simultaneous and it happens at the same time. So what makes concurrent different than the other ones? We already talked about it.
It has 2 or more behaviors.
So if the behavior, if we're talking in a scenario and it has 1 behavior, could it be concurrent?
No.
I know. Yes, I'm asking the same thing that you said, but I want to say it in different ways. Yes, so you are right. It is not concurrent. So does it have an SD, guys?
Possibly.
Possibly, that's what they said. And how about the schedules of reinforcement?
2 or more.
2 or more. So there's the matching law that they like. It's good for this one. So why do they say matching law goes with concurrent? The schedules of reinforcement.
It's involved choices.
So in a and just to verify that we know what matching law is that in a choice situation you will pick what? The choice that gives you what?
Oh,
Most
we're talking about video ball reinforcer.
The one you prefer. The better reinforcer, the one that you prefer.
There you go, guys. There you go. You are ready for the test.
Yeah, right.
No, every time I ask something, you're very firm and you're like, yes, that's it.
It's stuff that I don't know is the problem.
Look, it's a choice, so the person can make a choice. So the scenario that I have is, if Danny does homework sitting down in 10 minutes, then he gets strawberries. And if he does 20 squats, then he gets break. So can someone tell me where here is, which are the behaviors that we're talking about here?
Sitting down
You
for
cannot
10
see it. Can
minutes
you see it?
and
Can you
20
see?
squats.
I'm sorry. Can you see it? Or is it
Sitting down in 10 minutes.
okay?
And
Trisha,
We have two behavior. One is doing homework and the second is doing squats.
okay, so that was
Fatima.
Fatima.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you. And Trisha, you were also saying sitting down with homework, and which other, Trisha?
and then the 20 squats.
And the 20 squats. So yes, those are the two behaviors. So we can immediately say that it's concurrent. So which one are the two different reinforcement schedules?
The strawberries and the break
That's the
for
reinforcement,
concurrent.
right? That's the reinforcement.
Yeah. So you have the interval and the ratio.
So in this case, we have the interval and the ratio, and the interval would be the 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
And
Right. Fixed interval of 10 minutes versus fixed ratio of 20.
okay, perfect. Okay, thank you guys. I love that everybody participated in this one. Okay, so I just put the three of them together because I like to differentiate them. So let's.
So in that case, if you were to go back talking about matching law, so obviously if you do homework for 10 minutes or doing 20 squats, if it's just a simple squat, I would think the person will choose doing squat because you can do 20 squats in less than 1 minute. But again, it will have to be like, like what shape is the person on? Does the person have knee problem? If you don't have any,
it would also be the reinforcer too, right? Yeah, and the reinforcer would be the thing because it's, if you really like strawberries, wouldn't you work for 10 minutes on your homework to get that? I mean, it depends on, what they were working for.
Yes, and you guys bring up a good point. Is the question asking anything about that? If our question is asking just about, for example, the question is asking about the behavior, we need to just narrow it down to the behavior. If it's asking about what's the compound schedule reinforcement, then just narrow it down to that. Because here they're not wondering, the question is not like which one is the reinforcement or reinforcer, or can you prove that there's a reinforcer? Because if that were the case, you know what I mean? If the question was asking about matching law, then they will have to say more information than the one that they give, right?
Yeah.
So if the question is, let's say that the scenario is the same one here. For us to know matching law, what is the sentence that is missing there? Let me rephrase that. Let's use the same scenario. Let's see if I can copy and paste it here. So let's use the same scenario, and we're gonna create a mock question. And the mock question, I hate when this happens. All right, guys, be patient with me. And the mock question is asking us about the matching law. The matching law is just basically asking us where is the reinforcement gonna go, right? Something like that. Can anybody come up with a cool question? You don't know where I'm going with this?
You want a mock question using matching law, using this information about Danny and homework, strawberries, and squats.
So what would you like the question to be? Let's say, because I want the answer, could it be, maybe it could be,
with Danny's favorite fruit is strawberries, and she hasn't had any strawberries in 2 years.
then that's, you just got where I wanted to go at. So for this to be a question about matching law, it needed to have that part, right?
Right.
Then we don't know. That's the thing. Just from the top of my head now, I cannot come up with a question that makes complete sense and covers all the definition. But that's the part that we were missing if the question would be anything about matching law, right? We need to know in the past, which one has he preferred, strawberries or a break? And that's all I wanted to say about that. Anybody else wants to say anything else? This did not want to cooperate with me. Okay, guys, so let's go back to ArborWorks. Let's go back to these 3 examples. They're exactly the same with different, a little bit tweaks. ArborWorks